Hello, twos. So I flipped your cards right before I hit recording because there's a little bit of chaos in my house. I was switching over, so if that is part of what your reading is, take it. If not, I apologize. But when I flipped your cards, that's the feeling that I'm totally getting anyway. Because the first card that you're getting here, you're doing your reading with the Oracle, the Seven Energies, the Good Tarot, the Enchanted Map. They're all Colette Baron Reed. And I have also, for good measure and for the spring equinox, I did throw in a rune card to see what cycle that you're in. So you're getting broken open to start with. And when this comes into your life, something has occurred that has made you feel like you're dealing with rock bottom. This could be something happening in your life, or you could be the support person for somebody who is going through severe trauma, has had some really bad news, or their life is in just disarray. You could be a parent dealing with a child. You could be, dealing with a spouse. There's a million ways this could unpack in your life, but it would affect you absolutely directly, where you had to actually dig down deep and kind of pull yourself together after this, or help pull someone together. So that's the first thing that you're getting here. We also have storm fields, and this is coming from the Enchanted Map, but this is kind of reminiscent of the Tower in the tarot. And that just talks about things that are not built on a strong foundation, being like blown away or completely having to rebuild, okay? Because they're destroying what no longer serves you. And when this happens, if you're not prepared, it can be very messy. And a lot of times you're not prepared when something like this blows into your life, right? Comes in kind of like a tornado, all right? So the fact that these two are coming out with the twos, I want to automatically say to you, I'm very sorry for whatever you're going through, or whatever somebody in your life is going through, that you're offering the support, because it does seem extreme and it does seem severe. Now, I am going to pull some other cards on there and we'll get some details. If this hasn't manifested in your life yet, it's, this may happen around the time of the full moon, which is around the 18th of the month that we're dealing with. So something may occur around that time that you weren't expecting. That's just kind of pushing you in another direction, or just kind of like hijacking your regular day-to-day life, okay? At least for a time. But with the runes, we're getting breakthrough. And I also, what the interesting part about the fact that that's the card that's coming through is, in the tarot, when you get the tarot, when you get the Tower, if you're prepared for it, it can be a breakthrough in your life. Okay, even when you're not prepared for it, it can act as a breakthrough. Okay, sometimes when things get shaken up in our life, and when the chips fall where they may, there is something on the other side. It's either energetic, it's an opportunity, it's something you hadn't considered. Say if, like, your spouse lost their job and they had to be uprooted and moved to, I'm just going to say Kansas because I see that tornado over there. You get over there, you don't want to move, it's all completely chaotic. And then you get offered your dream job right there that you didn't even know you wanted. Okay, a breakthrough a lot of times is the change that we didn't even know sometimes that we needed or wanted that comes. And other times it could be something you've been trying to manifest, and when it pops in, it just does so in such a messy way, which you may not have preferred. But sometimes that's how things happen. Now, if it's resonating for you that you're dealing with something in somebody else's life, I'm going to caution you at this moment to, number one, absolutely be there for that person and do everything that you can to be there for that person, with the exception of not taking care of yourself, because it's really important, especially when we're lending empathy and our physical presence, or anything that we need to help somebody out of a situation much worse than ours. Sometimes we can just bleed ourselves dry, okay, or drain our complete and total energies. And you keep going on, and this is kind of weird because this one phrase too came up in ones, where it's kind of like, I really always try and tell you to be grateful and you want to be appreciative and you want to do all of that, but sometimes just because you're grateful you're not in somebody else's situation and you think to yourself, well, they're dealing with this is just the least that I can do. You do have to remember that you still have to be a whole person to be able to conduct your life and to be able to be there for them. So sometimes if that requires you to be turning your phone off for a couple hours and just get some peace of mind, or just take a minute to yourself, and whatever that looks like for you to get your bearings and for you to feel okay, to be able to move forward with that. But let's see what else is here. Okay. So there is, some of you are going on a new journey. Oh, this actually, you have some really nice cards. Okay, coming in here, there is some frustration. I definitely see that. We'll look at that in just a moment. Okay. All right. Before I pull the last one, or the last couple cards, which is going to be more into the spring equinox and what you kind of expect more towards the end of the month, let's look what's coming into your space in this full moon. Okay, so the full moon around the 18th is going to be this first part we're going to talk about. So we're starting with the Fool, and this is being able to start a brand new journey. However that resonates for you. It could be in a relationship, it could be a job, it could be a move. I feel like one of the twos is definitely moving, because I keep having this message of being transferred or being displaced or being moved. Some of you may be in the armed forces and be called back to duty. I mean, there's something where you necessarily weren't expecting to have to start over, but you are, okay? And right below that is the Ace of Earth, which is also like the Ace of Pentacles. And this comes forth as a golden opportunity, something that will have the potential to seed real growth and stability in your life. So that's beautiful. But then we have the Hanged Man. Let's talk about that for a minute, because I'm one of the most impatient people that you can meet. Leo, fire sign, hello. But the Hanged Man comes in, and it can be extremely frustrating because all useful activity is on hold at the moment. Something comes in, and either you haven't heard back from that employer, or you have to have a talk with your partner and it hasn't happened yet. You're kind of left in this limbo, which is an extremely frustrating place to be, especially if you have all this other stuff going on right now and you just want the chips to fall where they may so that you can fix them or reorganize them or change it, right? So you have this broken open and the storm field's coming in, but right underneath of it, you have this new journey, which is going to be great, but you can't see that yet, right? So as the Hanged Man, what's required, aside from the fact that it's just really a timing issue for you at this moment, that things are going to kind of be placed on hold for a little bit, and you're going to need to be patient. Sorry, I was thinking of that phrase where the gift of patience is patience, right? Is that like St. Augustine? I'll come up with that one because. But what's needed here really, and when we flip it upside down, we can see is just really a change of perspective, okay? So if things are aligning and they seem to be put on hold for a little bit, it's not necessarily a no to you, it's just a not right now, or something is going on where, again, with this storm fields coming in and this broken open, this may be outside of you. I feel like some of you may be going through it personally, of course. I'm sorry if that's the case, but it really feels like to me that it's something happening outside of you, okay? Close relative, coworker. There's something that you're going to be dealing with, and it does directly affect you, but it doesn't seem to be happening in your own life, if that makes sense, okay? All right, but the breakthrough, right underneath the breakthrough, is the Hanged Man, and it will balance back in because underneath of it we have Justice, okay? So under the broken open and the Fool, we have the Nine of Air. And this is an extremely stressful card. Why is it stressful? Because it's a mental aspect, okay? This is not necessarily outside stress as much as it is the way that you're dealing with outside stress. So we talk about the Nine of Air being like the Nine of Swords. And this would be insomnia or like obsessive thinking or feeling like you're on the verge of a nervous breakdown, which is interesting because it's under the broken open. So the ones have the Four of Air in their reading, and that's the time to stop and rest before burnout. You're actually getting the Nine of Air. And so your present energy here, we're going to come out of it. We have other cards that are coming in, but it would only make sense with all of the other elements that we started this reading with, having, dealing with something very emotional and something very stressful, and something that's going to be a game changer in your life, okay? So just another reminder to please take care of yourself mentally and physically at this time. If you need to withdraw from whatever is happening to be able to do that and keep some open space around you, it's okay for things to get canceled. It's okay for you to cancel some things at this time. This is definitely a warning from your guides that this could very much lead to hospitalization if you're not taking care of yourself properly during this time. It's going to be a hard time. I don't want to lie to you. But this is around the full moon. So this energy will move out, and you have to have faith that when it's coming in and it kind of seems like there is no solution in sight or something like that, that energy will move for you by the spring equinox, okay? You also have right underneath of this golden opportunity, the Hierophant, which means being divinely led. And this talks about being connected to your higher self. This talks about communing with God. Sometimes this is a grandfather energy, spirit guide that's coming through for you. All right, but this comes through as like a higher calling, a higher message, your higher self, and truly divine intervention. Okay, so you really just have to trust and you have to rest. It's so weird. Some of these messages were in one, so you might want to check that out as well. I don't know that 3x. We didn't go there yet. But the Hierophant really talks about something that this is a major arcana card, which means this is a universal energy. This is a destined karmic event or change of tide that's coming in for you, okay? Then we have the card of justice right underneath the Hangman. Like I said, that's going to kind of eliminate some of the frustration under the Hangman, because justice talks about, it's number 11, for a numbers person. It talks about the scales of balance being restored. So if you have court matters, that always bodes well in court matters, if you're owed money or something like that. It also could talk about somebody who might need, we have this golden opportunity, we have a new journey. Some of you may even be starting new careers in justice, okay? Whether through the police or the law, or however that goes for you, or a new form of study. But really, when this talks about bringing balance back into a situation, okay, bringing an element of fairness back into a situation that seemed really unfair, which is the energy over here, okay? Now, one card, and I did pull an extra card for you guys before we get to the next part, is the Three of Water. So instrumental under all of this is cause to celebrate, right? It may not feel like it, and you may not get there yet. And it's a very muted energy here. But whatever's happening is going to put you into a new space, either energetically or physically, a dwelling place, within the next 3 months. I mean, we're definitely looking at springtime. We're looking at the equinox. We're looking at the shift and the balance bringing in. So even though this time is very chaotic and can be quite tragic, or you're waiting for this breakthrough, you're very frustrated. Some of you may be dealing with a lot of painful information coming in. There definitely is cause to be as positive as you can about it, and just in the meantime, just to rest your soul and rest your body and do the things that you can get yourself strong for. And then I want to just pull the last 3 cards here as well. I wasn't recording for a minute. I'm using a new webcam today, so bear with me. It's a weird angle. I was going to just record looking at you, but I couldn't figure out how to do that. So sorry. Oh. All right, so we have Hermit, we have the Sun. These are majors. Big majors, okay? A lot of the shifts that are happening right now to the 2s, this is huge universal energy. This is karmic right now. Going over the Fool's journey, we have the Hermit, which is pausing for introspection. It's also a 9, right? So talking about resting and reflection is really important. You may feel the need to withdraw right now, and you would be wise to do that at least for a little while, even for a couple days before you re-enter. We do have the energy coming in after the storm, which I love. After the storm here, we have the Ace of Earth, which we talked about as a golden opportunity. Then we have the higher calling from the Hierophant, but then we're getting the Sun. All right, so just positive energy and expectations over that, okay? And then lastly, when we talk about the Hangman and Justice, this is the card of judgment, and in this deck it's called Call, which is like a judgment call, right? And this talks about karma. This talks about the sum of all your actions and the rewards of those actions, or vice versa, the consequences of those actions coming into play, okay? So some of this may be very much out of your hands. You may want to help a situation along. You may be stressed about the situation itself. This very much feels like somebody diving into somebody else's life to try and fix things, okay? and they may deserve it and they may need your help, and it's okay to give some of that help, but it's also really important that you take care of yourself in that time so that you can not only get on with your own life successfully and, you know, in the way that you need to with your path, because big things are going to happen. This feels very much like bad news and then big things. But in the interim, this pause where it's really important not to burn yourself out helping other people. And it's a terrible thing to say sometimes, but you know what I mean. I'm not saying that you shouldn't help people. I'm just saying that you need to take care of yourself, because this Nine of Swords is, you will have more time, you will need to recover from the Nine of Swords, is what I'm saying. You know, the Four of Swords talks about having a little rest. The Nine of Air is full on burnout where you would need to recover. Do you want to be in that position where now, because you've burnt yourself out, you are no help to yourself and others, at least for a few weeks, because now you're shut down? Do you understand? Okay, and that's a clear message that's coming across. But also the clear message is here to have positive expectations. Okay, you have big karmic changes coming for you now, just a couple of little things, like a whole major shift. So you have to get your energy right and ready. And if you need to, again, withdraw to do that for some time and reflection and rest, it is timely to do so, and it is highly recommended. So good luck.